Welcome to my advanced level class focusing on core work today. Always honor your body, so if you're trying this out for the first time and something doesn't feel right, always feel free to leave it out and just go at your pace. For today's practice, we will need a strap. You can always use a towel folded up as well, and always an option to have a block or blanket nearby. Let's go ahead and get started. I'll meet you on your back. All right, coming down onto your back, and we'll butterfly the knees open, soles of the feet together. You can always slide some blocks underneath the knees for a little added support. And if this is too much on the hips right now, feel free just to extend the legs straight out in front. And then allowing the arms just to rest down by the sides. Palms can be facing up for receiving energy or facing down to ground your energy. And we'll be building that inner fire today. And just start by tuning in. Feel the breath moving through the body. Notice the gentle opening in the hip space. And just deepening and lengthening the breath, helping to calm the mind, to relax the nervous system, and just letting go of whatever happened before class, anything you're anticipating after. And just giving yourself this time on the mat, clearing away anything not serving you, building that inner fire, that inner heat, tapping into your own life force. Let's take about 3 to 4 more rounds of breath here. When you're ready, take the hands, close the knees, hug them in towards the chest, and just begin to find a little rock side to side, massage the lower back and spine. Letting go of any tension that you're holding there, maybe circle out the knees a couple times. So this is an advanced level class. The pace will be a little bit faster. There'll be a little bit more expectation of knowing the poses. But always feel free to pause the video, slow it down, or skip something that's not serving you. Keep your right knee hugged in and extend the left leg straight out on the ground, flexing through the left toes. Make sure they're pointing up towards the sky. Hands below the right knee, drawing it up and in towards the right armpit. Finding a gentle compression on the ascending colon. And just using the strength of the arms. And then take the left hand and just draw it overhead. And you may notice a little bit more sensation in the front of the left hip and the hip flexor. And for some of us, it may not feel very intense. We're just finding a couple rounds of breath here. And then bring the left hand back to the knee and find your strap. Take a hold of it and place it to the ball mound of the right foot. One side of the strap in either hand, the left leg can be extended straight out or bending the left knee if you notice the leg lifting away from the ground. So really focusing on the right back of the leg. So noticing the hamstring, any tightness, and just using the weight of the arms to find depth. So on the inhales, finding length, and on the exhales, deepening. Maybe bring a soft bend into the right knee. And just a couple rounds of breath here. Breathing into the sensation. Allowing yourself to soften on the exhales. And then take the strap into the left hand and allow the right leg to fall across the body over towards the left. The right arm can extend out at shoulder height. You'll notice the stretch moves to the outside of the right leg and hip. You may not need to go very far to find the stretch. And if you notice that the leg is far down away from the body, see if you can draw it directly across, and that's going to help you find that sensation. And then slowly return to center, remove the strap, and with control, lower the right leg slowly back down to the ground. Nice and strong. And then just pause at the bottom. Notice any differences between the two sides. Maybe that first side feels more length, more space, maybe even a little bit longer. Take a deep breath in and a deep breath out. Draw the left knee up and in towards the left armpit. Flexing through the right foot, using the strength of the arms. This time finding a gentle compression on the descending colon. And just finding that steady, even breath in and breath out. And then take the right arm, reach it overhead. Keep flexing through the right foot. Keep the right leg and hip rooted to the ground. Tuning into the front of the right hip, the hip flexor. And keep drawing the left knee up and in. And then bringing the right hand back, take a hold of your strap. We'll come into our hamstring stretch on the left side. Ball mound of the left foot, elbows heavy by the sides. Use the weight of your arms. And the right leg can either be extended straight out or bent. And just keep reaching, extending through the heel. So even though we're stretching and holding, still being active in the body. Using your breath to find your edge. And just hanging out there. And maybe the longer you hold, the more your body starts to soften into it. When you're ready, strap into the right hand, allow the leg to fall open across the body towards the right. The left arm can extend out. And just remember, it's not about forcing the body into reaching a certain look or a certain point in a pose, but really finding that place where you're going to get the most benefits. So finding your own personal edge. Take 2 more full rounds of breath. And then slowly return to center, removing the strap. Place it to the side and lower the left leg back down to the ground with control. Nice and slow, take your time. And just pause at the bottom. Allow the body to feel supported and grounded. Take a big breath in. Big breath out. We'll bring the feet to the ground about hip width distance and walking the heels in towards the glutes, so as if the fingertips can brush against the back of the heels. Arms just down by the sides. We're gonna find some bridge work, waking up the core, the glutes, and the thighs. Press into your feet, tuck, curl, lift the hips up towards the sky. Pressing the earth away, feel the thighs firm up. Squeeze the glutes, the butt muscles, feel the core tight, and then with control, 1 vertebrae at a time, slowly lower down. Bringing the upper back, mid back, And then tailbone is last to touch, and pause at the bottom, take a breath. Once again, press into the feet, tuck, curl, lift the hips up towards the sky. Hold here this time. We're going to bring in some more movement. You're going to lower and hover the hips off the ground just about an inch, and then lift the hips immediately back up, squeeze the glutes. On the exhale, lower and lift. So rather on the inhale, lower, and on the exhale, lift. Lower and lift. Squeeze the glutes. Lower and lift. Finding that steady pace. We're here for a little bit longer. Keep going. All right, last 4, 3, hold at the top, and 2, hold at the top on 1. Tiny pulses, you're lowering and lifting just about half an inch. Squeeze the glutes each time. We're here for 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. With control, lower it down. And release. Hug the knees in, give them a squeeze, rock it out. We're turning the feet back to the ground. Bring the right hand behind the head and then extend the right leg up towards the sky, flexing through the foot. Left arm reaches up towards the sky. Extend the arm and leg away from each other. And as you come back to center, draw up and across towards the right. On the inhale, lower and extend. And on the exhale, cross. Nice. Keep it going. Energy reaching through the fingers and the toes. Making sure that you're not pulling on the head and neck. Keep it going. Focus on pulling the belly in towards the spine. Finding that core engagement. That's where we're moving from. Building that inner fire, starting in the belly. Halfway there, keep going. Move with your breath. On the exhale, lifting up. On the inhale, extending. Just a few more. You can do it. Last 3. Last 2. Last 1. And release. Just take a moment, arms down by the sides. Big breath in. And a big breath out. Second side, left hand lightly behind the head. Left leg, send it up towards the sky and reach the right arm up towards the sky. Extend the arm and the leg out. And on your exhale, lifting up, drilling up and across the left. On the inhale, lower. And on the exhale, lift. Keep it going. Just finding a steady pace and moving with your breath. So always using your breath as your guide throughout class. Focus on the belly pulled in towards the spine. We're halfway there. Keep it strong. Push yourself a little further. Last 4, 3, 2, last 1, and release. Full body stretch. Extend the legs, extend the arms. Full breath here. Two more core exercises on our back. So just like I promised, a lot of core in this class. Feet to the ground, hip width distance, arms down by the sides. We'll move into heel taps to start to work the side abdominals, the obliques. Lift the head, chest, and shoulders off the ground. Reach the right fingertips towards the right heel, moving from the torso, come back to center. Over towards the left. So imagine you're crunching from side to side. Relax in the head and neck. Feel the core tight. Keep going. If you need a little bit more intensity, walk the heels further away. You're going to have to reach even further. A lot of times we just think about the superficial abs on the top, the six-pack muscles, but there's many more layers. So right now we're working on the side abdominals, the obliques. Let's do 2 more full rounds. One last round. And release, let it go. Return to your breath. Last core exercise, tabletop legs. This is going to be an isometric hold, so we're not going to be moving. Even right here, you should feel the core working, the belly pulled in, low back connected to the ground. You can stay there, take the hands, press them against the thighs and the thighs back into the hands. You're finding this resistance. So the more that you press, the more that the core works. And especially since we've already done some core work, your core should start firing even sooner. So right now I'm noticing that my core is already starting to shake. That's a good sign that change is happening. Keep pressing, find that resistance. We're almost there. See if you can press a little bit more. We're here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Release, hug the knees and let it go. Take your time. We're gonna find our way into tabletop position on our hands and knees. I'll meet you there. So finding tabletop, shoulders directly over wrist, hips stacked over the knees, and spread the fingers wide, distributing the weight in the hands. And begin to move through some cat-cows. On the inhales, dropping the belly, lifting the heart and the tailbone. And the exhales, cat, press the earth, round the spine, gaze towards the belly. You may notice that it feels like you're stretching the belly, especially after that core work we just did. And just finding your own pace, connecting breath and movement. Feel free to use this time to explore the body. That may look like moving the hips in circles or figure eights. We're continuing with cat-cow. But just allowing this to feel good, holding any spots of resistance and breathing into it. We'll take about 2 more rounds. Finishing up your last round, return to a neutral tabletop, find a flat back. Pull the belly in, and then start to extend the right leg back, keep the hips square, and then float the right leg up to hip height. Now you can keep both hands on the ground for stability, or for challenge, reach the left fingertips forward. But if you're moving and shaking a lot, let's keep the hands on the ground. On your inhale, reaching and extending, and on your exhale, bring the elbow and the knee into center. And on the inhale, extend it back out. 4 more. Maybe the left hand stays on the ground. On the inhales, reach. Exhales, curl and engage the core, round the spine. We'll do 2 more. 1 last round. And then hold out, leg and arm extended for 3, 2, 1. Release the hand, release the knee. Dog wagging its tail, gaze over the right shoulder towards the right hip. Come back to center, gaze over the left shoulder towards the left hip. 1 more time, side to side. Come back to center, we have the left side, and then we'll take a break. Extend the left toes back. Make sure the hips aren't opening, they're in one line. Float the left leg up to hip height. Keep the belly pulled in. Both hands can stay on the ground or reaching the right fingertips forward at shoulder height. Take a breath in, and on the exhale, draw the elbow and knee into center. And then extending back out. Keeping the core engaged the entire time. So as you extend out, make sure the belly doesn't drop down. Last 3. Just 2 more. 1 last one. We'll hold as we extend out, energy reaching for 3, 2, 1. Hand and knee release down. Child's pose, knees out wide, toes touch. Send the hips back, and then melt the forehead down. And just take a moment to pause. Return to your breath. So as we cultivate that inner fire, making sure that we don't overdo it. That the fire doesn't burn out of control. So focusing on keeping that constant, steady flame. Take your time, press back up to tabletop position. We'll move into downward facing dog. If this isn't in your practice, Take a few more cat-cows and tabletop, or if you want to work on a little bit more core work, tucking the toes and hovering the knees off the ground. Tuck the toes, lift the hips up and back if you're coming into downward facing dog. Feet are hip width distance, and just start to walk it out, bending one knee and then the other. And just gaze at the hands, make sure that the fingers are spread wide and you're pressing into the finger pad, so you're distributing the weight. And then glide the shoulder blades down the back away from the ears. And then coming into stillness, you can have a soft bend in the knees, especially if the hamstrings feel tight. And we're going to work on some arm strength and core work here. Now, a couple options before we get started. If you're not doing downward facing dog, 3 times you can start in tabletop, tuck the toes, come into high plank holding. Or if you're moving from downward facing dog, you'll lengthen the stance and then you'll ripple forward into high plank, hold, and then you'll press back to down dog. So your choice, you can either work from tabletop to high plank or down dog to high plank. When you're ready, either coming into tabletop or I'll be guiding through downward facing dog. When you're ready, coming into high plank, finding a long line of energy, pressing the earth away. Now make sure that the hips aren't sticking up. We want one long line of energy, the hip bones reaching towards the belly, and then gently press back to down dog or release into tabletop. Take a moment here. You'll probably feel the arms working. And then once again, shift forward into high plank. Hold here, long line of energy. Feel the core engage. Press the heels back and reach the chest forward. And then send it up and back. Take a breath in and a breath out. One more time. Shift forward to high plank. We're going to hold here for 8, 7. Stay strong for 6, 5. Press the earth for 4, 3, 2, 1. Wherever you are, knees down, hips back, child's pose. All right, take your time, slowly roll up, and we'll find our way into standing, however it feels best for you. So coming into standing at the top of your mat. Bring the feet hip width distance, arms down by the sides, and just take a moment, close the eyes or soften the gaze. Feeling the feet rooted. Maybe noticing how your core automatically engages, helping to support your posture. Let's take a deep inhale and a cleansing breath out. Beautiful. Seal the lips, eyes open. We'll move through our Sun A. Reach the arms overhead, palms face in. Shoulders relax down the back. Lift up through the side waist. And then gentle back bend. Cactus the arms. Open across the chest. You're reaching up and back. Arms come overhead. And then soft bend in the knees. Hands through heart center. Keeping a flat back. Slide the hands down the thighs. Maybe you stop there, bringing the hands towards the shin. You're finding length in the spine, chest reaching forward, tailbone lengthening back. Maybe start to cactus the arms, feel the back muscles engage, and then use your core, flat back, rise all the way up. Straighten the legs, reach the arms overhead, and then hands draw into heart center. Pause here. Breath in, breath out. Eyes open. We'll move through again. Release the arms down. Inhale, expand up. And exhale, gentle back bend. Cactus the arms, open across the collarbone. Reach the arms overhead. Hands through heart center. Bend into the knees slightly. And then hands slide down the legs, flat back the entire time. Shoulder blades kiss together. Cactus the arms. And then with control, flat back, rise up to standing, reach up, grow tall. And then hands come in, drawing the energy back in. Let's take a breath in and a breath out. Once more, release the arms down. Inhale, expand the arms overhead. Exhale, gentle back bend, cactus the arms, open across the chest. Reach the arms back overhead. Hands into heart center, soft bend in the knees. Hands slide down the legs to the thighs or to the shins. And then cactusing the arms. Feel that engagement in the core, rise back up to standing. Expand the arms up, and then draw the energy back in. Let's take a deep inhale, and a cleansing exhale. Beautiful, open the eyes, release the arms down. We're gonna come into warrior two, so find a wider stance. And then turning the right toes towards the front of your mat. Hands to the hips, and just a couple times start to bend and straighten into the right knee. Notice how the hips are feeling. And then come into stillness. Make sure the knees stacked over the ankle, arms come out shoulder height. Feel as if you're pressing the arms down, energy reaching, maybe gaze over the front hand. Finding your drishti, your point of focus. Where are you directing your energy? Take one more breath here. And then straighten the legs, bring the hands into heart center, and shorten your stance. We'll come into triangle pose. Bring the arms out at shoulder height, palms facing down. And then start to reach forward like you're gonna touch the wall in front of you. Once you can't extend further, then you tick-tock the arms. Right hand down to the thigh or the shin, left fingertips reach up. You're keeping this right side waist long, so we're not rounding in. Find that length, open across the chest, maybe gaze towards the top hand. And then slowly rise back up. Hands into heart center. Turn the toes in and then heels and toes out. Expand the arms out. We'll come into goddess. Hands into heart center. Shoulders stay over hips. 3 more times. Inhale, reach and expand. And exhale, horse sit low. 2 more, strong in the legs. Let's do 1 more round. Inhale, reach. This time we're gonna hold in goddess. We're here for 5. Press the palms together for 4, 3, 2, 1. Straighten the legs. Turn the toes in. Parallel the feet. And then taking the hands to the hips or extend them out at shoulder height. Soft bend in the knees. Halfway down or a little less, hinging from the hips. Keep a flat back, micro bend in the knees. Feel a stretch in the back of the legs. Keep the back of the neck long. And then with control, use your core, rise back up to standing. Bring the hands in. Let's pause here. Deep breath in. Cleansing exhale. Let's do one more breath in. Breath out. Beautiful. Eyes open. Turn the left toes to point towards the back, going straight into the other side. And you can lengthen your stance as far as it feels good in your body. And then hands to the hips, bend and straighten through the knee. All right, finding stillness. Expand the arms out, energy through the fingertips. Feel the energy of the legs drilling towards the midline, so keeping it active. Maybe bringing the gaze past the front hand. Belly pulled in, tailbone lengthens down. Take one more breath here. And then straighten the legs. Hands to heart center. Shorten your stance. Moving into pyramid pose. Feel the feet rooted. Expand the arms out. And then start to tilt the hips back and reach the left hand forward. Once you can't go further, tick-tock the arms to 6 and 12 o'clock. Now you should feel the obliques, the side abdominals working. Feel it opening across the chest. Keep the right shoulder softening down and back, either gaze towards the side or towards the top hand. Let's take one more breath. And with control, slowly rise back up. Hands into heart center. Turn the toes in. Heels in, toes out. Last time, star pose, expand up. And exhale, horse, sit low. 3 more times, move with the breath. Feel that expansion on the inhales. And sitting low on the exhales. All right, one more time. Hold here, tiny pulses up and down, shoulders directly over the hips for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Straighten the legs. Turn the toes in, parallel the feet. This time, option to lower all the way down. Any low back issues, just lower about halfway down. Keep that flat back. When you're ready, soft micro bend in the knees, start to hinge forward. And then release the hands down to the ground or to some blocks and just hang heavy. Breathe into the back of the legs. Maybe shake the head, yes and no. When you're ready, flat back, core pulled in, we'll rise up to standing. Nice, release the arms down by the sides. And then bring the feet back together. Pause here. Feel the feet rooted. Breath in. Breath out. Blink the eyes open. We'll be working into Warrior 3 today. I do want to give you the option, maybe grab a chair or holding on to your couch or a sturdy table, just to help find that balance and really focusing on the alignment. If you don't need any of that, feel free just to follow as I'm doing. Now, if you are using a table or a chair, I recommend placing the hands at the edge start to walk the hips back. So you find length in the spine, and then we're gonna float one leg up at a time. So this is gonna take some core strength and also some strength in the back and in the legs. Now, if you need to work on a little bit more back and leg strength, I do have a class focused on that you can try out as well. So just starting from the top of your mat, you can also always incorporate your blocks. That's a great option as well. So I'm gonna show you using blocks. Bring the hands to heart center. Soft bend in the knees and just start to hinge from the hips. Keep the core tight. And then release the hands down to the block or to the chair. We're gonna bring our weight into our left foot and then start to send the right toes back. Maybe they stay on the ground. The hips are in one line. Option, start to float the right leg off the ground. Now make sure you're not opening up in the hip. Keep the right hip down in line with the left. Find that length in the spine so we're not rounding in, we're keeping the core nice and tight, the low back stabilized for 3, for 2, for 1. Softly lower the right leg back down. Soft bend in the knees. Hands to the hips, core tight, flat back, rise up to standing. Release the arms to the sides. And just take a moment, shake it out, let it go. Just washing away some of those expectations. And just remember, these poses take a lot. We're engaging the core, the back, the legs, the glutes. And so there's a lot going on. So if you don't get it right away, that's completely okay. It's a practice of showing up. Let's move to the second side. Once again, feet hip width distance. Hands to the hips, soft bend in the knees. And maybe you just allow the arms to slide down the legs. Bend the knees as much as you need until they reach the block or the back of a chair. Weight in the right foot. Start to send the left toes back. Maybe the toes stay on the ground, just finding that balance, or maybe you start to draw the left leg up. So remember, the hip isn't opening, left hip in line with the right. Reach the chest forward, kiss the shoulder blades, and feel the belly pull in. Maybe a micro bend and the standing leg. We're here for 3, 2, 1. Slowly with control, lower down. So the way you come out is just as important. Hands to the hips, core nice and tight, and rise all the way up. Arms release. Take a moment, shake it out, let it go. And then just taking your time, we'll come to a seated position on our mats. So finding a comfortable seat, maybe elevate the hips on a blanket. We're just gonna start to slow the practice back down. All right, hands rest on the knees. Feel the sit bones heavy, long in the spine. Let's take a deep breath in. And a deep breath out. All right, seal the lips, eyes open. And then side body stretch, right hand roots, left arm reaches up and over. So especially after all that core work, making sure to stretch the body as well. And then just reach forward, travel through center, over towards the left. Energy through the fingertips. Lengthening in the right side body. And just a couple more times, go side to side. Moving at your pace and just finding a flow. Let's do one more round. And then the right hand reaches up and release it down. We'll come into a seated twist. Take the left hand to the right knee, and then right fingertips just behind you. Lengthen first in the spine, and then gently twist. Shoulders soft and heart lifted. Maybe walking the chin back if that feels safe and okay. And then gently release, switch it out. Right hand to left knee, left fingertips lightly behind you. Reach the crown of the head towards the sky, and then gently twist. So we're not forcing the body, moving with the breath. Keep the heart lifted, spine long. Maybe walk the chin back if that feels okay. And gently release, come back to center. Take a breath in and a breath out. Beautiful. Let's come onto our back and slow it down a little bit more. So once you're all the way down onto your back, just cactus the arms or extend them straight out at shoulder height. Drop the knees to the left, scoot the hips towards the right for an easy twist. And maybe the chin falls to the right, completing the twist into the cervical spine. And shoulders stay heavy. Just wringing out the body, rejuvenating the spine. Coming back through center and just switch it out. Knees to the right, hips to the left. Maybe the chin dropping to the left. And just letting go of effort. Slowing the breath down. And just tuning into that inner fire. Noticing if the flame is flickering, if we're running out of fuel. Notice if it's steady and continuous. Noticing if it's burning out of control. And just tune in. Where do you need to bring your practice? What do you need after? And slowly come back to center. Happy baby. Grab behind the thighs, calves, or outside edges of the feet. So using your practice on your mat to tend to that inner flame. And those moments where it's flickering, finding that bit of fire, that edge, such as core work. And when it's out of control, maybe tuning in to the more yin aspects of yoga, slowing down, allowing the self to restore. And then hug the knees in, give them a final squeeze. And then come into final shavasana. Extend the legs, extend the arms, get heavy. And a lot of times this part can be the most challenging aspect of our practice. Taking time for stillness, for pausing. But allow yourself to find permission to really tend to yourself, to give back, to refill your own cup. We'll be here a little longer. I'll guide you out when it's time. Feel free to stay here for longer, otherwise bring movement into the body. Fingers and toes, arms extending overhead. It's like a good morning stretch. And then take your time, roll over to one side and gently press up to a comfortable seat. And once you're there, we'll sit tall, close the eyes, bring the hands into heart center. We'll take a closing breath, big inhale. Then open mouth, exhale, let it go. And bowing it forward from my heart to yours, namaste. Thank you for joining me on the mat, and I hope to see you soon.